and I am here tonight to answer your soul questions about spirituality, sexuality, intimacy, trauma, and all the places those subjects intersect. This is a safe space to discuss this stuff and hopefully a fun space to discuss stuff. Jenna is usually with me. She is my co-host. Has another event tonight. So it's you, me, and Spirit. So we will see. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. If you have questions that you do not want everyone to know that you are asking, please feel free to go to our website, www.eroticspiritpodcast.com. And at the very top, there is a section that says Spirit Guides After Dark. Spirit Guides After Dark. If you click on that, it will allow you to fill out a template that you can put your question in, and we will read it on the next Spirit Guides After Dark. And we will know your name, but we won't let anyone else know your name. So please feel free to do that. I'm a channeler, a spirit guide channeler, a medium, a dream interpreter, a quantum touch energy practitioner, and it is my passion and my joy and my privilege to bring messages from Spirit on any subject, and particularly Spirit Guides After Dark is aimed to answer questions about intimacy, love, sexuality, because I wanted somebody to do that when I was younger and no one else is doing it. So we're busting it out. Let me see if anyone's dropped in any questions yet. Ooh, Spirit's in for sure. So I'll get chills up my back sometimes, and that's what the shivers are. Oh, so we are going to start just by relaxing into the space. Take a deep breath and let it out. Take another deep breath and let it out. And one more big deep breath. So taking 3 deep breaths automatically puts you into an altered brainwave state. You're just going to set the container here. Beloved Ascended Masters, Spirit Guides, Angels, and Archangels, thank you for blessing and being with us. Thank you for moving through us. Thank you for allowing fun, joy, guidance, dream interpretation, and love to come through in this session tonight, in this broadcast. Thank you for surrounding and holding us. Oh, thank you for moving through us. And so it is. So now that we are grounded in, our spirit guides have been called in, and angels have been called in, we will get started. If you are in conflict between your spirituality and your sexuality, Archangels come in for our broadcast. Spirit guides come in. Ascended masters come in. I always ask Jesus to come in because he's the ascended master I'm most comfortable with. And this is a podcast about sex and sexuality. So, not a podcast, a live broadcast about sex and sexuality. So Spirit is definitely here. Proves. All right, let's go to some questions. I'm running the tech tonight, so it's always interesting when I'm the one running the tech. Let's see what questions we have here. Now, this is a good one. So, what are our souls trying to teach us through heartbreak? I know some people prescribe to the we come down here to learn lessons theory of life, and others don't believe that. I am someone who believes I came down here with contracts to complete and challenges. And heartbreak is definitely one of those things that will transform you. So when it's so teaching through heartbreak. Ooh, let's ask. They're coming through. We and teachers and spirit want you to know that the only lessons that come through on your path and that dictate your life are the ones that your soul chooses. Your soul is the master of your life. No one else is doing anything to you, for you, or about you, except what coincides dictates of your heartbreak. When it comes to lessons, is one of the most transformative lessons that you can have. Heartbreak will literally break you apart and reshape you. We often tell this channel, God bless her broken heart. She gets upset about this. She says, why aren't you telling me God bless my whole heart? We tell her that a broken heart is a sacred heart. There is nothing more human in the human experience than having a broken heart. When your heart is broken, it is cracked open. It is in a place of transformation. It is where you and your soul meet. It catches your attention like nothing else. It is a place where you can touch God because your regular markers and securities in life are challenged. Your life is upended. You are good. It is a place of great creation. We're not saying suffering are sacred. We are saying when your heart is broken wide open, you have more capacity to love. You have more capacity to your own soul, capacity to empathize, more capacity to feel. The suffering and the grief that extend beyond an ending and heartbreak, those are unnecessary. Endings are natural. Suffering is not. Suffering happens when you hold on to your heartbreak, when you do not use it for the transformative journey that it is. When you say stay stuck in that moment of change and pain, that is not the purpose. That's when you suffer. Heartbreak and suffering are two different things. Heartbreak, endings, grief, and loss are natural. They are states that are to be moved through, not stuck in. There is this belief that by holding on to your pain, holding on to your heartache, some way prevent it from happening again. This is not true. It keeps you stuck in that mind frame. New heartbreak just piles on top of the old. It keeps you in a place in which you keep reliving over and over and over again the event of your heartbreak. It is self-punishment. It does not prevent pain. It brings you more. For what you focus on is what you receive. When you hold on to pain, you are focused on it. Always. And it allows more pain to be drawn towards you. We respectfully request that you reconsider your propensity to hold on to pain and heartbreak. It is not for you. It is not your natural state. But it is a place of great transformation, of great love, of great change. It is a place for you to harness the energy of questioning who you are, what you want, and who you want to be in that moment. That was awesome. That was a lot of information. So, a lot of information. Wow. Let me come back here, see if there's any questions. No questions. All right. Let's look at another of our questions. And if you don't have any questions, that's fine. If you want to comment, great, feel free to do so. If you don't want to comment, you just want to hang with us, please feel free to do so. If you're here and watching and you're popping in, your spirit guides are here too. So if you have any questions, it's a good time to ask. Let's see. Question. Well, this is a good one. Okay. Why do some people feel destined to certain partners? So I'm not channeling yet, but my understanding is we have contracts. We have contracts. So planning out before we come down here, like, hey, Sue, let's come down here and be on Earth together. I'm going to be, I'm going to be your, it's going to be awesome. And let's work out what we're going to learn from this experience. Maybe like you'll have an alcohol problem and all that forgiveness is and patience and self-love and perseverance. Just, who knows? Who knows? Effect. Let's see what they have to say. To meet certain partners. You are fully correct, our channel. You are destined to meet certain on this planet at this time. Some of them you know about, some of them you do not. We have great joy in knowing what's in store for you. We have great joy in knowing where your path is leading you. There is a myth and a misperception that soulmates are one person, that soulmates can only be one person, one certain person for each other person, for each of you. Soulmates are the people in your life that you have known but you were incarnated. They are your friends, your loved ones that are also here. And they are the people that you recognize in that moment. that you have known them before. Your soulmates can be your best friends. Your soulmates can also be some of your greatest enemies. Soulmates come here to participate in the play of life with you. They are here to help you have experiences, moments, understand concepts that you can only refine, enjoy, be a part of in an experiential way while you are incarnated on this planet. This planet is a tough one. There are a lot of conflicting ideas, a lot of different perceptions and ideas. And when those differing perceptions come into conflict with each other, this is your space to create. This is your space to decide who you are. How can you have the experience of deciding who you are if you do not have something to contrast with? How can you decide what to be if there is no contrast? It is where the conflict is, where the conflicting ideas, perceptions, supposed opposites meet. That is palette. That is your perfect space to create who and what you want and to decide who it is that you want to be. When it comes to having a specific partner, you can have multiple soulmates. They can be not necessarily romantic partners, but you can have multiple romantic partners who are soulmates. Do not make the mistake of thinking that a soulmate relationship has failed or is not a true soulmate relationship if it ends. Not all relationships were meant to continue, and relationships that do not continue or not forever, it does not mean they were failures. You came to have a specific experience with that specific person. Just because that experience ended didn't mean it didn't serve its purpose. There are others who have come to have a single romantic partner, a single. All of this is determined by your soul before you get here. And this is the other awesomeness about being an experiential being on this planet. You can mind. This is your creation. This is your blueprint. What you decide to do with it is entirely up to you. When you are most happy, though, is when you are following your soul's purpose. When you are feeling most in alignment, most set, most calm, most purposeful, regardless of what's going on around you, that's when you are in alignment with your soul's purpose. So if you're feeling out of sorts and you don't feel in alignment, it is time to reevaluate your desires, to evaluate where you are, and ask yourself, am I in alignment with the purpose of my soul? If the answer is no, it would benefit you to reassess your priorities. If the answer is I don't know, we invite you to consider going within yourself, taking time to ask yourself what is important to you and what is not. When it comes to having a specific partner, the answer is yes and no. It just depends upon what your soul chooses. what your soul has destined for you. I can lovingly say they're on one tonight. Let's see. Let's see what other questions there are. They're all sorts of talkative tonight, which I'm very grateful for. Okay. Next question. Oh, that's a good one too. What does spirit wish humans about pleasure? Ooh. So what does spirit wish humans understood about pleasure? We wish you understood that it was your natural state. Pleasure is who you are. Pleasure is a natural byproduct of you following your soul's desire. Pleasure is sacred duty. Pleasure is what gives you strength to meet the challenges of your life. Pleasure is where you rest. Life was not meant to be all work and no play. Life was meant to be savored. Life was meant for you to take your experiences and refine them into something that brings you pleasure, that brings you satisfaction, that brings you joy. Even people who struggle, even people who have seemingly less than optimal lives, there is always the choice to be in your present moment and to find the pleasure that is your birthright within. Pleasure is something that has been demonized because it gives you your power back. When you are in strife, in struggle, in lack, feeling as if you are without, that you not have enough, that you are in despair, or that the situation is dire, those are the moments in which you need pleasure the most. Pleasure puts you in your natural state of receptivity. When you are receptive, when you are relaxed in pleasure, you are open to the divine intervention and inspiration that is available to you. It is hard to hear you are stressed. It is harder to hear guidance from your own soul when you are anxious and in distress. How can you hear your own truth when you do not relax and let go? Pleasure is a tool in which you can relax and let go. Pleasure is something that should be cultivated. It is like any other aspect of life. Some people have a hard time cultivating pleasure. They have disconnected from their pleasure due to shame, embarrassment, lack of use, or severe trauma. That sense of pleasure, finding the things that bring you joy, spiritual, it is worth your time and effort. It is worth your deserving. Every human is deserving of pleasure on a regular basis. If everyone was in pleasure, the world would be a much more peaceful place. If people were in less conflict with their pleasure, the world would be a more peaceful place. Pleasure is who you are. It's hard to fight who you are. And when you are at conflict with your pleasure, it means you're at war within yourself. It's hard to navigate life when you are in a constant state of conflict within yourself. We all lovingly and respectfully request that each of you cultivate pleasure, simple things, small things, every single day. It can be the taste of your food. It can be the wind on your face. It could be how your feet feel when they touch the ground. It can be a song. It can be the pleasure of hearing someone's voice that you care about. Simple things, small things. Ask yourself, what lights me up today? What do I look forward to? If you do not have an answer, it is time for you to ask yourself those deeply important questions. You have so much to share with the rest of the world. When you are not in your pleasure, it makes it hard for you to do so. Your pleasure is what makes you feel like your cup is overflowing. And when your cup is overflowing, you feel like you have something to share with other people. Find your pleasure. Find what lights you up. You will contribute to the peace of the world by doing so. This is not for your sake. It's for everyone else's as well. Mm. 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 They definitely very, very on point tonight. Oof. Lots of shivers. What else do we have? What other questions do we have here? Oof. Let's see. And if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in. You can put them in the chat. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat as well. This is a good one. How does authenticity affect our ability to experience intimacy? That's a complicated one. So, how does authenticity affect our ability to experience intimacy? Authenticity is all. Authenticity is the place that identity strives to reach within themselves. That is the place in which they are that they can communicate who and what they are with confidence, with grace. So many of you have a hard time being in that place, and that is part of the challenge. It's part of the challenge of being human. That place, you feel like your authentic self is when you are in alignment with your soul. It's where you are honest about your truth. Even if your truth is perceived to be ugly or uncomfortable or difficult to understand. Truth is not always pretty. Truth is often brutal, stark, messy. Truth is for each person. We are going to say this again because it is something that is very important for you to understand. truth is different for each person. You are the creator of your reality. Your personal truth is going to be different from every. There are truths as is as we are all connected. But there is also the personal truth in which you experience where you do not feel love, that you do not feel connected. In that moment, it is valid. People think, well, how can that be? How can it be that it is my truth that I do not feel love, and yet love all there is? You are, if you experience that you do not feel loved, that you do not, and you are loved, is your right to have that experience and to have that truth. If people could not have their own personal truths, this human experience would not work. It's important that you honor your truth for what it is in that moment and understand that truth can change. And we will say this again so that you understand. Truth can change. Truth is not immutable because humans are always changing. The universe is always changing. God is always changing. The vibration or the being or the consciousness that you call God holds the truth of love and connection for all. That is universal truth, and it is held by that universal consciousness. It will always be. On your smaller scales, your personal truths will vary, and they are all valid. What is most important, though, is that you share your authentic selves and your authentic truths, even if they are messy, even if they do not fit what your culture has made for you, even when they don't fit societal norms. It's important for you to voice your truth. Many of you worry, but what if I hurt somebody's feelings? What if I shake the boat? What if there are repercussions for my truth? These are all valid concerns. But what you must ask yourself is, what is the cost of me keeping my truth to myself? What is the cost of not sharing my truth? There's always a cost when you block your authentic self, when you block your truth. One of those consequences is having inauthentic and insecure relationships. When you are not authentic in your relationships, it is poison. It is a slow death. It is putting your relationship through the death of 1,000 cuts. Inauthentic relating is something that is fading from human consciousness. It is something that is no longer tolerated, especially by your newer and younger generations. Have you noticed that more and more people can tell when someone is lying, that they know it instinctively, that they avoid people who are not set and authentic in their truth. This is not an accident. This is not happenstance. This is raising consciousness. This is the vibration, truth, and higher vibrations that are moving. You cannot prevaricate anymore, not like you could before. Have it be unnoticed. So, when you are inauthentic in your relationships, it is a death sentence to relationships. It will make them hard to last unless there is a course correction in your authenticity. Well, if I were truly my authentic self, my lover would leave me. My boyfriend would not be okay with who I am. I don't want them to see those parts of me that I think will turn them away or make them think I am undesirable. If you show your authentic self to someone and they leave, they were not for you. That is the other benefit of being authentic. When you are your true authentic self, you will attract people to you who are in alignment with the authentic soul self that you are. Those are the people you want to pull into your orbit. At least those are the people you want to pull into your orbit if you are choosing a peaceful, more aligned life. But it is your creation. It is for you to choose what kind of life you want. If you want a life with more chaos, with more betrayal, with more trauma, be inauthentic. Be someone you are not. And your authentic self will come out in odd ways. It's hard to stuff who and what you truly are without major consequences. So, overall, for a peaceful life that many of you are clamoring for an authentic or aligned life, and then see where the people in your life fall. Some of them are going to fade away. That is the natural state of humanity. People come, people go. But being your authentic self means that you are always comfortable with the person that you are. You are always secure in the foundation that you are understood by yourself, that you are comfortable letting other people know where you stand and that you understand yourself. Soul-centered, authentic people are soul-centered, confident people. They're the people that people migrate toward. If they are in alignment with the more authentic you are, the more authentic people you will draw to you. We are. Oof. Thank you very much, beloved guides. Let's see what else we have going on here. What other questions? I guess for sure. What is the funniest thing Spirit observes about modern dating? This. I'm curious. Feel free. what happened? Okay, we lost our connection for a minute. Make sure it's back. Okay. Sorry about technology and spirit in particular. Okay. See, again, if you, again, please stop them. Okay. What is the funniest observed in modern dating? What is the funniest thing spirit observes about modern dating? We observe are to present ourselves as not who and what you are. We think this is particularly hilarious when it comes to when you use on your modern dating sites. We think that is hilarious. We do not like the heartbreak that comes from betrayal or feelings of betrayal when the person that is using the filters presents themselves in real life and what they have presented and who they truly are do not coincide. That part is not amusing, but the dance, people trying to be something that truly hilarious, sad, all at the same time. It's you think it takes so much effort to keep guessing or trying to guess about what a potential partner or love or think is desirable when it really, really, really would make your life so much easier if you would ask yourselves, what do you want? What do you desire? What do you think is desirable? What you think is desirable is what is best for you. If you're thinking, oh, but I like a partner with clean cut hair and style and who's fit. It's important. The quality of the energy you project is the quality of the energy you receive. If you want a partner who has themselves together, who is fit, who is stylish, then it's important for you to also be fit and together and stylish in your own way. Often the things that we are craving from other people are things ourselves that we deny. They are things within ourselves that are denied. It's important. It's important to remember that you, as you are all that you need. We just had the conversation about being authentic in relationships. And even though it is humorous for us to watch the dance, the hiding, the drama and prevarication that goes on in trying something you are not, we would very much for you to stress less, enjoy more, and be yourselves more, and participate in the world world from that authentic space. Interesting. Well, when the first thing they showed me is uh, with filters, and their pictures on social media that they've changed. Oh, this is a good one too. There's no. Nope. Okay. We'll go back here. All right. If spirit guides have one piece of relationship advice to humanity, what would it be? God, I feel like we just answered that. If spirit guides could give one piece of relationship advice to humanity, what would it be? Dear ones, the third time is the charm. Be yourselves. If we had one thing to choose, be yourselves. Be who and what you truly are. There's a reason you are built the way you are. You are built the way you are because you are needed as you are. Be who and what you truly are. There's nothing like you. There is nothing like you throughout the entire universe and creation, and there will be nothing like you after. Revel in who and what you are. All right. Third time is a charm. If nothing tonight, be authentic in who you are. It's coming through loud and clear. Let's see. Let me see. This is a good one. Why do some people fear their own sexual energy? So this is actually coming up quite a bit. I know it's something that I have struggled with before, but I grew up in a Catholic household and sexual energy was not allowed unless you're married, and it was for that purpose alone and making babies. So let's add. Okay. So they're telling me to share my story. If you've watched that, I grew up Catholic. Growing up Catholic means sex and God do not go together. In fact, there's the whole Virgin Mary thing where Mary was impregnated by God and Jesus came about without a traditional father. So like sex is totally off the table when it comes to spirit. Sex is for making babies. For me, that made me afraid of my sexual energy because it was not, it's not allowed. Especially as a teenager, it's not allowed. So, like being afraid of orgasm, because that means I have reached sexual height. I had sexual pleasure. So I used to be afraid of that because it wasn't allowed. It was just automatically programmed that it wasn't allowed. So fearing your own sexual energy usually comes from a space of, what I was taught, good person, or being a spiritual person or a godlike person, not coincide with my sexuality, with how my sexuality presented itself. So, as the channel showed, being in direct conflict with sexuality and your spirituality, when you've been taught that what you consider to be sexual and what you consider to be spiritual do not coincide with each other. Most of the conflict that comes between spirituality and sexuality is self-taught, of absorbed from other people. Sexual energy is one of the most honest energies. It is pure creative energy. So to use it and to harness it is spiritual. And with any energy, intention, everything, what you intend and who will determine if it's in alignment with your personal values, with your soul values. Soul values are not thing. Soul values are not the thing. Since sexual energy is creative energy, it is important to understand sexual energy is just another part of God energy. That creation energy is all there is. So when you are creating, whether you realize it or not, you are using sexual energy. Divine inspiration is an aspect of sexual energy. Self is also an creation, above and beyond creating another human being. Harnessing sexual energy for spiritual benefit has so many different forms, so many variations. There are spiritual practices that have embraced sexuality. And then there is personal practice. If you invite God, if you invite Spirit into your sexual experience, Spirit and God will show up. There is nothing you could possibly do in your sexual creation that would turn your Creator away from you. So, as this is coming through, my own stuff is getting in the way of this a little bit. Oh, we're almost out of time. With that last message, I'm like, well, like rape and trauma, those are not what I would consider condonable things. And so that popped in. Rape and trauma are not condonable things. But we are here to experiences. Humans are here to have experiences. We reiterate again, there's absolutely nothing you could do to turn your Creator away from you. God is all forgiving. God is all knowing. And God does not turn away from God's creation. That being said, that does not mean actions are condoned. That doesn't mean actions are approved of that damage others, or actions in which you participate in damaging yourself. There is a place to look at sexual trauma from the standpoint of coming to have a particular experience while on this planet. Can you think of any other experience that would be so hard to forgive? This is one of the places in which acceptance, forgiveness, building self-worth, understanding sense of self after being torn down, understanding self-value, all valuable places, experiences to have around sexual trauma, around any deep trauma. Again, does not mean it is condoned. We are just offering a different perspective. We are offering a broader perspective for those brave souls that have come down and had those experiences. We ask that you mine them for all they are worth. They are a place for you to recover your deepest, most authentic sense of self, away from the dictates of what other people have demanded that you be. We hope this helps you. We are about out of time. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Participating, if you'd like to check out our podcast, it is on all the major platforms. We address questions like trauma, and where spirit fits and how to recover from trauma, particularly sexual trauma. Please feel free to look it up. Yeah, that got heavy there at the end. That's not how I wanted to end, but that was not my choice. And then my name is Angela Shelby. If you would like to connect more with me on one-on-one, my website is www.angela. I do dream interpretation. Oh, what else do I do? It's hard coming back from an altered state. I hope you have a wonderful. I am looking forward to doing this again, and I will see you next Thursday. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.